A halftime performance. Good morning, everyone. It is 9:29 right now. We have a couple of very special guests joining us in studio right now. We have Dave Schwartz. He's the CEO of the YMCA of Greater Des Moines, and also Vicki Forsman, Vice President Mission Advancement at the YMCA of Greater Des Moines. Thank you both for being here.
Good morning.
And
Good morning.
Thank you, first of all, for being here in a relatively new position here.
Relatively new, about 8 months now, Lou.
Yeah.
It's been, what a journey. What a journey. What an incredible organization. I've got to tell you, when I walked in and we were all familiar with the Y, right?
Right.
I mean, we've all
Everybody
grown
is.
up where, I've got my own Y story growing up, but when you get inside the organization, I think for so many people for so long they thought, how do you define the Y? Well, the Y is a swimming pool in downtown, right?
Right, and that's what everybody thinks of right off the bat.
So wrong, so wrong. I mean, again, that's so important. Don't mishear me on this. The pool downtown is so important to this community. We certainly understand that, but so much beyond that. We've got 10 other branches that are touching people from a Y Camp in Boone to supportive housing downtown to everything in between. We're touching lives, about 100,000 a year.
And you're talking about the different locations of the YMCA, and one of the benefits and one of the neatest benefits by being a member of the Y is all those campuses are at your access, aren't they?
They're all at your access, so join one, join all. It works so well for our members, and you think about it, for a member who happens to maybe live in Ankeny but work downtown.
That's a good example.
Well, guess what? Family can use it in Ankeny, while at downtown at work, he or she can use the downtown facility. That goes on throughout this community.
Now, besides just having the ability to use the different places of the different YMCA facilities, is there anything else that people don't know that they probably should know about the Y?
Yeah, I think what they don't know potentially, and this will probably segue into something I'd like to talk about today as our annual campaign, is every year we help more than 20,000 people with more than $2.2 million of financial aid. That's significant because those people, and I've got to tell you, Lou, I was one of those kids growing up. I was single mother, youngest of 5, didn't have economic means, okay? The Y came along. Okay, the Y came along and helped. We're doing that with kids across this community today, and it has a marvelous impact.
How did it help you when you were a kid?
Well, I tell you, again, youngest of 5, single mom, you have a lot of alone time, right? And so coming home from school right after dinner, what are you doing? And having that opportunity to find mentors in your life that perhaps you didn't have, maybe male influence in your life that possibly I didn't have at that point in my life, oh my goodness, it changes your life around. I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for that Y experience when I was young.
How about that? Vicki, why don't you tell us a little more about the campaign that's going on?
Yeah, fantastic, Lou. So we have the YMCA annual campaign, which is a fundraising campaign that we do every year in the month of February. We have about 400 volunteers that will go out and tell the story of the Y and ask for support for the work that we do. And this campaign is led by one of our key community leaders, Clarence Hudson. He's our association campaign chair that leads the charge, and we have a goal of raising $1,529,000 that goes to help support the 20,000 individuals that Dave talked about.
Now, you said they're going to go out and talk about the program. Where are they going to be speaking at?
So we go out to breakfast clubs, we go out to service groups, and we share the story of the Y, but more importantly, it's these 400 volunteers that will call people in our community. They'll call your listeners, they'll call members of the Y, they'll call community leaders, and one-on-one we'll ask for support of the YMCA and the work that we do. So I think that the campaign is one of the greatest equalizers here in our community, because it gives people access to the YMCA that may not have the financial means to afford that.
And that's one of the reasons this campaign is so important, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's why it is very important, so we can get everybody into the Y that wants the opportunity for a healthier lifestyle.
And any other things that people should know about that, about where the campaign monies are going to be going?
Yeah, so campaign monies go to give folks scholarships to the YMCA, and then we also go to support programs that are really important to the community. So we know that we're in a state of crisis with America and our obesity issues that are coming up. So we want people to give, we want people to have access to the YMCA to come in and work through that. We also work with programs that reconnect absent fathers to their kids through a YMCA fatherhood program. And then being the YMCA, we are blessed to have to operate the most swimming pools here in our community. So we have a great responsibility to help kids learn how to be safer around water. So we do that by giving them access to the Y. If you can't afford membership to the Y or programs to the YMCA, this campaign that our volunteers are going out to work on brings those dollars in so we can provide those back to the community in the form of scholarships.
It sounds like you need a lot of people to give you a hand getting this message out, and you have an opportunity for some people to help you out in this role too.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Yes, so we need volunteers for this campaign. We are kicking off the campaign at each of our branch locations this week. Through the 400 volunteers that are out there, we need more people to come alongside us and tell the story of the Y. There's so many folks, as Dave talked about with his story of the Y. Share what that story is, ask for support. We want your listeners, we want the community to get behind this and come in and donate to the Y, join the Y, give to the YMCA.
All right, so along with this campaign, which we think is going to be very successful, by the way, because people realize how important the YMCA is, not only for themselves, but for the entire community. How else can people help out?
Well, I think they can help in so many ways. Obviously, they can volunteer, but I would tell all of your viewers right now, if you're not a member of the YMCA, join the YMCA. If you're not a donor to the YMCA, become a donor to the YMCA. Those things are really important. Help us out that way, because really it's not about helping the Y, it's about helping the community and lift the community up. And so we need people to join us in that. We're so fortunate. We've got so many people who come alongside with us, but at the end of the day, there's a lot who don't yet, and we need to get out there and tell the story. And I think the more opportunities we have like this, Lou, where we're telling the story of the Y, so people actually understand it's beyond a swim in a gym.
Right.
It's so much more. We're so proud of the swims and gyms, don't get me wrong, but we're so much more. And it's the stories that I see every day as I go out to one of our branches, and I could regale you all day with stories of individuals who we've touched and changed their lives.
You can tell me one of them.
I'll tell you one, and I'll try to stop at one, Lou, but
okay.
I'll give you one. At our Boone Y camp, when we were up there, when I was talking with the director up there, Dave tells me about a young lady, a 10-year-old young lady, who has something that I guarantee you none of our kids had, a bucket list. 10 years old. She has a bucket list because we host kids through the Heart Connection each summer.
We know them very well.
Absolutely you do. She's got cancer, okay? She has a bucket list. One of those things on her bucket list is to climb the climbing wall at Y Camp. So dutifully, staff, volunteers get her appropriately harnessed and clothed so they can get her to make the ascent. She makes the ascent. There's not a dry eye when this happens.
Wow.
Who else, who's doing that in the community? And again, it goes on and on, whether it's a gentleman who lost 300 pounds at our South Suburban branch, whether it's a lady up in Ankeny, a 65-year-old woman who has regained her sense of life because she had lost a spouse, 2 children in the span of 18 months, and suddenly Jackie found a home at the Y and has a purpose again in her life. That's what we're doing. We've got wonderful competition in this town. Our for-profit friends do a great job. Please don't take any of this wrong. But what we do is so much more, and that's what we're excited to talk about with the community.
And it's transformation, like you mentioned, which is almost magical.
Yeah.
And we're going to go from one spectrum to the other, because I'm going to throw my own story in here now.
Perfect.
We have the 10-year-old that you said accomplished that amazing feat. On the other end of the spectrum, my dad is in his mid-80s, and this is a guy who was an athlete. He was a tire changer, a pit crew member on a professional race team. He'd jump over the wall. Mid-80s, he was having a hard time shuffling around, because that's what he was doing. He was shuffling around. He got signed up. We got him signed up for the Y just a couple of months ago. He is getting around better than he has in years by doing some simple things and having that destination to go to 3 or 4 times a week. And it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's a renewed sense of purpose for somebody. If you think about it, as we all age, one of the things we fear most is losing relevance, okay? Losing connectivity. Well, if we're providing a home for that senior, okay, who has some therapy needs, obviously, but in addition to that, just has societal needs. He wants to talk, wants to connect to people. We're providing that. So everything from the very youngest child to your father that you just mentioned, we're touching in this community, and that's why we're out asking for support.
Yeah, and it's an amazing organization, folks, and we mentioned to you earlier, so many different branches around here. Not every community is lucky enough to have as many branches as we have.
No, where I grew up, again, in the great state of Dubuque, Lou, we had one branch for 60,000 people.
Wow.
Okay, we're blessed here. We have so many, and in this community.
Wonderful. So if we want to find out more about the campaign, how to get volunteer, if you want to volunteer some time, what's the easiest way and the best way to get a hold of you?
Please go to our website at dmymca.org, and you can click on the Give button. You can also just look at all the different programs and the opportunities to volunteer that would be out there. But we invite you to come in and give to the YMCA. Help us support and grow the community with what we're here to do.
Lou, I'd offer one other thing.
Sure.
Call me directly. 471-8515. Call me.
Hang on, I'm going to get your
More
number
than
again.
happy.
What is it?
Call me, 471-8515. I'd love to talk to anyone in the community about what we're doing in this community and how they could be helpful to us.
All right, Dave, we got your number down here.
All
If
right.
anybody didn't write that down, just send me a message. I'll send it to you.
Perfect.
You guys are doing outstanding work.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, what's the status of the downtown?
Oh, perfect. Thank you for the question. It's going well. You know, they're in the ground. They're working away. They've been working since December. Sometime, it's supposed to be a 12 to 14 month project. Sometime between December of this year and March of 2018, we'll have a new 50-meter Olympic-sized swimming pool downtown, which will then give us 14 total pools throughout the 14 throughout the association. I think we'll do a little work in the water.
Oh, I think you're going to do a lot of work in the water. And when the pool is done and it's full of water, you're calling us so we can go out there and jump in. We'll put on our Speedos. We'll jump in first.
Lou, I don't want to comment on that image right now, but I'll tell you this. My biggest nightmare is if that pool is ever idle. It can't be. We need people in it constantly.
I think you'll have people in it
So you're
constantly,
welcome.
too.
Come down.
We'll do that. Thank you so much for being here.
So good to see you.
So good to see you, Vicki. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Folks, again, the why, it's what you want to do. We will be right back. This is CW Iowa Live. We'll check back in with Jackie down at Principal Park and see how crazy things are. Look at that line. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We'll check in with her next on CW Iowa Live.